In this video, I'm going to analyse the music magazine Rocksound. I will talk about the codes and conventions of a front cover, contents page and a double page spread. At the top of the page we have a banner and a puff. A banner is a box full of colour with text inside it, and a puff is something that attracts the reader. Often has the words free or win. The banner says, "Paramore, ain't it fun to be back in the UK?" This would appeal to the target audience because the magazine is a UK-based magazine. And obviously fans of this band would be glad to see them in the UK, and they'd want to read about their adventures in the UK. Next to the band name Paramore is a picture of the vocalist, which links with the band name, of course. And this is what we call a cover image. Cover image is obviously there to support the text. Next to that is what we call a puff. It says free CD and posters. Next to it is the posters which they're talking about. So you've got a wide selection, including Metallica, Tonight Alive, Avenged Sevenfold, Ask Alexandria, Fearless Vampire Killers, and Devil Wears Prada. And all of those posters have been displayed there so people know what they're getting. Teenagers love to put posters up on the wall, so the magazine obviously would like to include them because it would attract people to buy the magazine. They're very popular, and obviously the bands will be very popular, so people would want to buy it. Also, going back to the free CD, this is effective because when people see things are free, they jump at it. And even if it's a free CD, people are happy, especially people that regularly buy this magazine. Music's quite a lot nowadays. It's like 99p for a track and £10 for an album. So if they're getting something free, then they'll be really happy with it. And if it's like their favourite band is on that CD including the magazine, then they'll be well chuffed, and it'll automatically make them buy the magazine. In addition, the tracks which are included on the CD are described as killer, which implies that you have to listen to them and you can't miss out. It even gives you a list of so many bands which are included on this CD. But there's 15 tracks on this CD, which is a wide variety, and it would appeal to anybody reading this and think, wow, I need this CD because it's got a wide variety and it could give me a chance to listen to some new bands and get into them. Above the banner which talks about the tracks included, there is an example of another banner with several articles which are contained inside the magazine. One is In the Studio with Of Mice and Men, the other is What's Brewing with Panic at the Disco, and the other is Def Havana and Mayday Parade. This is obviously a huge number of bands, but I'm going to talk about the Of Mice and Men one in particular, as it's singled out from the rest, as it has a cover image next to it of the vocalist of the band, and it talks about In the Studio and the first interview. The fact that it's the first interview implies it's something important, and people need to read this because it's the first interview. It's like an exclusive, but without the words exclusive. And Of Mice and Men has been singled out with the yellow text, which has also been used for Def Havana. But on the green background, it contrasts and stands out. And it's so bright that you can't help but look at it. Furthermore, just below the banner we have the masthead. The masthead acts as a form of logo and gives the magazine a title. As you can see, this magazine is titled Rocksound. It is in block red capitals, which just stands out and hits you in the face. And it's loud because of its bright colours, which connotes with the genre of rock because it's loud and in your face and you can't get away from it. The red contrasts with the green background, and it's effective because it's one of the only red pieces of text on the entire page, so you can't help but look at it and you just think, that's bright and colourful. And this cover, to be fair, is quite colourful, and the red brings out the colour even more. Just below the masthead we have the main cover image. The main cover image is the largest image on the page as it takes up the entire page. It's obviously of the cover stars Bring Me the Horizon. We know this because of the text anchored just below. The image is of the band. Obviously the vocalist is at the front and the rest of the band are at the back. The vocalist is the only one smiling out of the entire band. His body language suggests he's happy or he has something to be happy about, whereas the rest of the band look more serious, especially at the back towards the left. You've got the guy with his arms crossed, which suggests some seriousness, or he's got something to say, or maybe anger or something. Also, the vocalist of the band is stood at the front, probably not just because he's the front man, because he's seen as an ideal self-partner, as a role model, somebody that people can look up to, relate to, use for advice and stuff like that. He's probably been told to stand at the front because that's the kind of person who he is. They wouldn't just put any old person at the front, but obviously he's been put there because he's seen as like the main eye candy of the band. Like much bands, the front man is obviously seen as the eye candy, and that is probably why he has been placed at the front. Anchored just below the main image, we have the main cover lines, which says 6 months inside, bring me the horizon. And we have a pull quote saying, I use the band to sort out my life out. For starters, Bring Me the Horizon has been done in a different font from anything else on the page, which singles it out from anything else. It stands out because it's all jaggedy and it looks really creative and interesting. And also the words 6 months has been singled out, which is obviously a long period of time. And from my own knowledge, I know that their album came out 6 months ago, so it's talking about what they've done since then. It's saying that it uses the word inside, which is effective because it's telling the reader that they need to buy the magazine to read what happened in these past 6 months inside. They can't just look at the front cover and say, oh, that's what happened. They need to look inside. Also, the pull quote is interesting because it's saying that somebody in the band obviously used the band to sort out their life, which implies that their life was a mess and they needed something to help them, and in that they used the band, which implies that there's some trust between the band and stuff like that. People would be like, oh my god, who is it? I wonder. And that would force the reader or the viewer or the person looking at this magazine to be like, right, I need to read this magazine to find out who said that. And that's why a pull quote is effective on a front cover. Overall, this magazine is effective because its use of bright colours, text and images. If you were to look at this in a shop, it would stand out from any other magazine on the shelves because of its use of bright colours. The bright colours hit you in the face. They've used colours like red, green, yellow. Bright colours that you can't help but not look at. Because when you're in a store and you're looking at all these dull colours, your eyes are immediately drawn to the bright coloured magazine. And this is effective because it's going to attract people to come and look at the magazine, read it, read the cover, look at everything. And this would probably help the magazine to sell.